Hi, Diego. I want to, I'm not going to go through these, I was, but I just want to show you this. So I have probably here about 12 documents from the CDC all the way to the New England Journal of Medicine and Johns Hopkins University and so on and so forth that basically follows exactly what Diego just shared. I was going to share in their own words, them admitting the very same things that Diego so clearly made. So I don't need to reiterate it again. But you do have to ask, well, what is the motive and what does that mean for us individually, right? How does that and how should we act so that we're not acted upon? I will go to some of this later because one of the things that we have seen, obviously, we talked about the flu. This is interesting from the CDC. They followed the flu for a long, long time. And I'm just going to show you one thing. You've seen these graphs, right? You've seen where all of a sudden the flu just ends. This is right? So week 26, right? And I can bring it up and show you. But this is something that very interesting. If you go here to the same article, on the same page, it says, due to the impact of COVID-19 on ILI surveillance and the fact that the state and territorial epidemiologist reports rely heavy on the ILI activity, reporting for this system will be suspended for the 2020 and 21 influenza season.
That's right.
So they just stopped reporting influenza.
Flu's dead.
And they admit it. Right? Well, why would they do that? Why?
Because it's more deadly than the COVID.
Right?
Because they don't know the difference.
Well, they can't tell the difference.
That's
and
right.
that's exactly right. So if you go through the same article and you go further here, let me get it, or maybe it was before this article. Yeah, it says right here, through the same article, it basically says here, due to pneumonia, influenza, and COVID-19, it categorizes them together. It says again, percentage of death due to pneumonia, influenza, or COVID-19. So they've just stopped tracking influenza so that they can increase the numbers. Well, guess what Brad Little is doing? He's saying in Idaho now that we have all these deaths, right? Well, I got to log in here. I'm sorry. Hang on. This computer. Okay.
Is there a shortage of backhoes for burying all these people? You know, somebody's selling it.
Thank you.
Okay. Almost here. Now, these are some pretty rough numbers. I mean, they're accurate numbers, but I was just working on a report here. Maybe you shut that off. They're so nice. I can't wait for you to get electrocuted up there. So look, so these are the actual Idaho death statistics for 2018. And chronic lower respiratory disease, that would be categorized right now as COVID-19. Also, influenza and pneumonia would be categorized as COVID-19. These total numbers in 2018 are 1,135. Who knows what the numbers right now? Well, this is a couple days old, but this is the reported COVID deaths in Idaho right now. We're right on track.
Wow.
Right? So there is no, this is exactly what Diego is saying over and over. This is statistically, I'm showing it right in front of you. There is no major concern.
That's right.
There is none. In fact, we may end this year with less than in 2018. And that's not including, right? That's not including heart disease that they claimed as COVID. That's not including diabetes and all of that. This is only the respiratory diseases that are deaths in Idaho in 2018.
But over here, it does include heart disease and cancer and all that.
But this is, they're claiming all of this, or a lot of it, and they've stopped tracking the flu. Okay, so let's just leave that. Let's just leave that off. you, by the way, for jumping around and doing all that. Okay.
We have that data on our website.
So I was going to go through several other things, but I really don't need to reiterate what Diego said. He said it better than I could say it. However, there is something now that they are pushing through the media, and we've heard of it, and we all looked at it as something good, called herd immunity, right?
Right.
Well, you're going to be hearing a lot more about it because it's becoming the justification for something that we don't like, and I'm going to talk about it. So herd immunity occurs when a large portion of the community basically becomes immune to the disease. We know that. There are two paths to herd immunity for COVID. This is from the Mayo Clinic. Anybody know? Very
Renowned.
mainstream, very leading. Mayo Clinic has been
Highly
one of the leading
respected.
medical institutions for many, many years. There are two paths to herd immunity for COVID-19. One, vaccines. The other is infections. Okay? Natural. So vaccines create immunity without causing the illness of resulting complications. However, it takes a vaccine made by man, right, to inject and start the natural processes, and I say that with a quote unquote, right, in your body. Now, herd immunity, or natural infection, herd immunity can also be reached when a sufficient number of people in the population have recovered from a disease and have developed antibodies against the future infection. Right? That's kind of the natural process. That's our God-given process to be able to, your body gets exposed to it, and then it creates an antibody, and it has proteins and does all these other things that protect yourself from the virus. Okay? Now, the issue here is, wrapping this up before I turn it over to Don, is that the government believes the right method to obtain herd immunity is vaccinations. And I could go through all this stuff here that shows how all the things that they have bypassed to get a vaccine that's basically untested. And I won't get into that. If you don't know it already, it's out there. But what I want to do is I want to read, and do I got somebody who's a good reader? Because I'm not. So let's go back down here. I'll just read it then. Okay, so here we go. This is a conversation between a 60 Minutes reporter and a general in the U.S. Army who's been tasked to distribute the vaccine.
That was
And
this morning.
they have the vaccine in their possession right now. They have the vaccine in their possession right now. They are waiting for it to be approved, and then they are going to roll it out within 24 hours. We'll talk about that. So they kind of do some small talk. I'm not going to go through all of it. They kind of do some small talk, and then they get kind of serious. And right here it says, "What is the first order you are going to give?" He goes, "It is simply a command of execute." David Martin says, "So once you say execute, how fast does it get out there?" "Within 24 hours. "Do you have doses of vaccines already stockpiled?" "Yes, we do." "How many do you have stockpiled?" "I'm holding on to that number right now because I want to not create anxiety, and we need to work through the details. A month from now, I'll have more." Reporter says, "Are you worried about the security of the stockpiles?" "We have taken extraordinary precaution in this area. Not only for maybe some nefarious effort, but also natural. Hurricane, tornado, etc." Right. It's such a commodity. So to us, we are taking the full steps to make sure that the vaccine's secure. Reporter, "Armed guards?" "Yes." "Armed guards at the site where the vaccine is stockpiled?" "Yes." "Once it starts moving, whether on the truck or plane, it's going to be under guard." General says, "Yes." That's as far as I'm going to talk about it though. Right? Because you don't want to lay out all the plans. But the answer is yes. Reporter, will you be able to track all the moving parts? Yes, I feel 100% confident of that. Reporter, will you be able to bang your fist on the table and say, what happened to that shipment that's going to Good Samaritan Hospital in Baltimore? General says yes, and not only that, I'll know after it gets there how fast they are administering the doses that they are giving. Reporter, how much have you spent so far? As of today, I think I'm at 12 billion, but I have projections that we could spend as much as 26 billion. What's your worst nightmare? The general says, we get vaccines in the American people, we get vaccines to the American people, and they don't take them. Shame,
Yes.
well, listen to what he says. Shame on us. Hey, I was already sick. I don't need it. Shame on us. Hey, I don't believe in vaccines. Shame on us. Just shame on us, and it does keep me up at night. Now, I want you to watch a video here, very short one, of this same general. This same general, and this is his words
Yep.
directly. Get it?
About this morning.
Of course he's wearing a mask.
Can I blow you out?
What country is this?
This is the United States of America, U.S.
So
Army
it
has
says
on the
US
shoulder.
It's the
What we're doing to
USSA.
make sure that we are ready at this level after working these details for the last 6 months. As I've told the team, 2 things we must have. One, upon emergency use authorization, all of America must receive vaccine within 24 hours, as I said. I think this is incredibly important. Fair and equitable distribution of the vaccine throughout the country simultaneously. There is no haves and have-nots. It is an equitable distribution, and we are driving hard to make sure that happens. The second thing that we want to do is make sure that the cadence of vaccine delivery following the first push is routine so that states/jurisdictions can plan for it and account and develop execution of the administration in a routine method so that the population.
Okay, now I'm going to back this up, and then Don, you're going to finish this out here. I want to
What
point
we're
out
doing to make
several
sure
things.
that we are
Get there.
already at this level after working these details for the last 6 months. As I've told the team, 2 things we must have. One, upon emergency use authorization.
Okay, emergency use authorization. Upon emergency use authorization, meaning he is going to get authority from the government to do these things through emergency orders.
All of America must receive vaccine with.
All of America must receive vaccines.
Bullshit.
He's not optional. He says we're going to get emergency authorization from the government, and all Americans must. This is the U.S. military. This is the U.S. Army. He's a general in the U.S. Army. Now go on.
24 hours, as I said. I think this is incredibly important. Fair and equitable
Fair and equitable distribution.
of the vaccine.
That means everybody is going to get it. Fair and equitable distribution.
Throughout the country simultaneously. There is no haves and
Simultaneously, there is no
nots.
haves and haves not. You
Simultaneous.
can't say, I don't want it, or I do want it. There is no haves or haves nots.
Bullshit.
It is an equitable
This
distribution.
is an equitable distribution. Everybody equally will get it.
Try and bring a needle junior. I'll put them both in
And
there.
we are driving hard to make sure that happens. The second thing that we want to do is make sure that the cadence of vaccine delivery following the first push is routine so that states/jurisdictions can plan for it and account and develop.
Plan for it and account. That the states and the as he calls them jurisdictions will be used to basically implement this and help to hold you know, it all accountable.
execution of the administration in a routine method, so that
Okay, that's all I have to say. I want you guys to know, you know this.
That's martial law.
What was it? Clear back, March, April?
Yeah.
We were saying that this is where it was leading.
Yep.
This is where it was leading. And all the people that complied to these mask mandates, they basically gave everybody else the needle.
Yep.
And they're giving it. Because what they did not do is they did not answer the question correctly of whose body their body belongs to.
That's right.
They said, you know what? You're the government. You can make me put a man-made filter over my face, and I'll comply. I'll do it because evidently I believe you have authority to tell me to do that.
Yeah.
Those who didn't are answering the question, look, you do not own my body.
That's right.
But the answer hasn't been strong enough. It hasn't been loud enough. There hasn't been enough people that have refused to do these things. So now the government still believes that they can use the U.S. Army against their own people
It's true.
to force a vaccination upon them. And my friends, it is coming.
It's coming.
It is coming.
Is it on our website?
Don. You want